What's up? I'm Paige Anderson, and this is my review of Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 10, Mother's Mercy, the finale. A lot of things happened. First off, I would like to say thank you to everybody who watched me last week. And like I said last week, if it did well, I will come back. So here I am, I'm back. Let's start off by mentioning what happened last week. Stannis Baratheon killed his daughter. He put her up for sacrifice so that he could become king. Well, it did not pay off for him. Early in the morning, Melisandre's in his tent, I guess. Icicle, she's looking at them dripping. She's like, the Lord of Light is on our side. She's always wrong about everything. But the Lord of Light is on our side, and we're going to be doing well, I guess. 25 paces outside of his tent, one of his foot soldiers comes up. All the sellswords are gone. They took the horses. Treason. Then maybe 5 paces later, another foot soldier comes up and he's like, Your Grace, and he's like, come on, say it. Can't be any worse than treason. Cut scene. His wife is hanging from the tree. Strange fruit like a motherfucker. 2 things in your favor, right? Then I hear another guy coming up saying, Melisandre's gone. She didn't ghost out. She's left. Now, the person who you did all this for, well, the person you did this for was yourself, but the person who psyched you up to do all these crazy things, she's left you. She didn't even tell you, hey, I don't think you should march on to Winterfell because you're going to lose. She didn't even say that. She just got the fuck. She didn't give a fuck about you. She made you kill your daughter. Your wife killed herself, and you're getting ready to die. So all of this is going on. He keeps marching because he's hard-headed. He's, you know, he is who he is. And they get to, I guess, to a point where they can start digging trenches and, you know, setting up their siege. And he's like, do this, do that, do that. Next thing you know, Ramsay's army, they come and tear them apart, basically. And you know, rightfully so. And Stannis ends up killing 2 people. But while that is going on, you cut scene. Podrick Payne has some firewood in his arm. I guess he cut that for him and Brienne. Brienne is at her post watching the tower to see if a light comes into that window or a candle comes into that window. Podrick comes to her, says, hey, Stannis and his army is over here. She made that oath to kill Stannis because he killed Renly. So she has to leave her post to go and find Stannis so that she can kill him. Well, oh well, she gets up to Stannis. She pulls out her sword, basically does her spiel, and then she's like, you have any last words? And he's like, do your duty. I hear the sword leave her holster, but I don't really see the head roll. And if you know anything about Game of Thrones, if the head doesn't roll, the body doesn't burn, the person may not be dead. So I'm thinking at the last part of her being, she's like, you are a Baratheon. You are the only Baratheon that I know of that's left. So I'm thinking that what she did was possibly spare his life, maybe cut off his foot, something like that, you know, because she's one of those duty and honor people too. All right, let's jump over to Sansa. Sansa takes that corkscrew that she stole 2 episodes ago and gets herself out of her room to go and light a candle in that tower in the window. And she does it. She's even standing there in the window. And because Brienne has left her post, she doesn't see that happening. So, but I guess Sansa feels like, okay, let me get back to my room because I don't want to get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. She breaks to her room. Well, she's breaking toward her room. And she's stopped by Miranda and Theon. Well, Reek at this point. Miranda has her bow and arrow, like she's Katniss Everdeen, and she's like, talking in her Ramsey crazy shit voice. And Sansa's like, you know what? If you're gonna kill me while I still have a little bit of me left. And then the crazy Ramsey girlfriend bitch is talking like Ramsey. I'm just gonna break off some pieces of you, Theon. Well, Rick turns into Theon. He throws that bitch off the side of the balcony, and then all you hear is scream, and she's dead. Ramsey seems to be coming back to the castle. Rick, Theon and Sansa hold hands and they jump off the side of the building. I'm thinking because they grew up there, that they have done that before, and that they will survive, because the showrunners didn't give us anything but a view downward and those two jumping off. So I'm gonna assume, because I did read the books, that this storyline will go forward. Okay. Next thing we have let's go over the Bravos. We have Arya. Arya hung out with the Hound for, I guess, 2 whole seasons. So she has a lot of "I'll just kill you, bitch" in her. So anyway, she's over there in that whorehouse again. She's stolen the face, and Meryn Trant is in there beating up little girls in his perverted way. There are 3 little girls in there. First little girl he hits, she cries. Second little girl he hits, she cries. The third little girl, which I already knew was Arya, he hits, and there's not even a flinch. The second time he gets rid of the other 2 girls. The second time he comes around and hit Arya, she flinches, and then all of a sudden she lets go and let have. She stabs him in left eye, and right eye, chest, wham, wham, wham. Then she, gets down and like she's praying and stuff, and she's like, "I'm glad that the faceless God let me have you. He took a lot from me, but he let me have you." And then it's like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?" And then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh!" Slash his neck, and he's dead. She's sneaking back into the House of Many Faces to bring back the face that she took, and that happened to be the face of the little girl that she lied to drink the water, poison herself, and die. So she ended up putting that face back up there, and then Jaqen shows up with that other girl. I forgot her name, and the girl's like, "I told you she wasn't ready." And then Jaqen's like, what did he say? A death has to pay for a life. So he drinks some poison and he falls out. Arya is not a faceless person. I don't even think that she'll end up being a faceless person on the show. She hits the floor, she's crying, and then Jaqen appears to be in the other girl's form with her dress and his face on her. So Arya looks over and she looks at the body and she starts to pull faces off. She pulled faces off until it was her face, and then she goes blind. Alright. So now we're caught up to sort of where she is in the books, where she is actually blind at this point. And I think she's only blind to heighten her other senses. Because from the way the show did it, she had a kill to do. And because she used her sight and saw Meryn Trant, she didn't use the time that she had to kill the one person she needed to kill. She ended up killing the wrong person. So I guess they're taking our eyes away from her so that she can heighten her ears and her, all her other senses, so that she'll do the thing that she needs to do instead of the thing that she remembers to do because of, using her sight and still being connected to Arya. So let's move on from there. The biggest thing going, I would say, if we go to Meereen, then Daenerys is on a mountain somewhere. The Dothraki is surrounded her. Well, the Dothraki has surrounded her, and she drops a ring on the ground. Back at the castle, you have Daario and Jorah getting ready to leave and go find her, which is sort of like looking for a needle in a haystack, because they don't really know where she went, how far out to go, blah blah blah, you know. And then we have Melisandre, we have Missandei, we have Grey Worm, and Tyrion. They're going to be left to run the place. That's all we have there. Let's go over to Prince Martell. Pretty simple scene. They're at the dock. Jaime, Bronn, Prince Trystane, and Myrcella, they're leaving to go to King's Landing. Weird thing that I saw as soon as it happened was that when the camera went over to Eloria, she had lipstick on. And I just noticed that none of the other times that we've seen her, you know, she's had lipstick on. She's always beautiful, long neck and pretty face, hair, you know, certain way, but she's never had lipstick on. And this time she had lipstick on, and she gave, and like Doran, Prince Doran gave her an inference. Real cool acting. Go back and look. To go and say goodbye, and I'm wondering if he knows that she's poisoned Myrcella. So anyway, so she's poisoned Myrcella with the kiss, and they get on the boat. Cut to Jaime in Myrcella's room, trying to explain to her that he's her father in a way that's not creepy, and then she's like, I know you're my father. And they have an embrace. And next thing you know, she's bleeding from the nose and just blood everywhere, all over her garments and everything. And then cut to scene of Eloria. She is with her daughters, the Sand Snakes, and she's having a little blood coming from her nose also, but she's giving herself the antidote, and she's wiping away the blood, and they walk off. So I'm thinking either that boat's going to turn around, and Jaime's gonna go back for the antidote once Bronn finds out that Myrcella's been poisoned, because he knows that the antidote is back at Dorne. So I'm thinking that either they're gonna turn the boat around, or Jaime's gonna bring back a dead daughter to Cersei. And I don't think he wants to do that. I know that he doesn't want to do that. And then we have Cersei, because I'm just going to leave everything at the wall for last. Then we have Cersei. Cersei has to do her walk of penance. She does it naked. Of course, initially I was like, wow, nice body, but then I find out that that's not really her. She has a no nudity clause in her contract, so that's some other sexy woman, you know, given the body, and Cersei did all the stuff from here to there. So it is what it is. A lot of people are saying that they felt sorry for her. I did not feel sorry for her. She has been a bitch since go. But you really can't feel sorry for anybody in Game of Thrones, because nobody's really good. Everybody has some shit with them. So you really can't feel sorry for anybody. You really can't, you really can't feel sorry for anybody, and you really can't put yourself out there for anybody, because everybody is ruthless. Everybody. There's not one person who isn't ruthless in that situation. But that happened. She gets to the Red Keep, and then Franken Mountain grabs her, and she's back. You know, Cersei, the mean, low-down bitch. You know, it's like sending a rich person to jail for a week and then telling them, now you got to do the rest of the time at your house. I'm rich. I don't really want to leave my house anyway. You know, I got it really good. So all of that was kind of for nothing, because I don't really think you're going to... I think everybody's going to be dead before she can have a trial. Judging from the show, not the books, but the show. And then let's go over to Jon Snow. First part of what happened at the wall was Samwell was telling Jon that he needs to leave because he has to protect Gilly and the baby, and you know, he doesn't want to end up having to die trying to do that. So Sam's like, look, I gotta leave because I can't see myself being able to protect my peace and live, you know, because just when you was gone, you know, it was bad. So cut to Jon saying, hey man, I need you. You're the only friend I have here. And Sam's like, look man, I can't stay. Jon's like, you hit that? And Sam's like, yeah, I did. And Jon's like, you know, being a maester, you can't be hitting that. And he's like, well, I'll figure something out. And then Jon's like, okay, you guys can go. They get on a buggy and a horse and they get the fuck out of there. Jon's left there by himself. Let me go over to Sir Davos and Melisandre are both at the wall. I mean, they are both there. So when I say next about Jon is Alistair Thorne killed him. Well, stabbed him. They set him up. Is what they really did. They said that they said that his uncle was there and they had information on it. And they told him that they had information on his uncle. He gets up from his desk, runs out, and realizes, oh, this is a setup. There's traitor written on the thing. And this is where Robb ends up being his father's son and his brother's brother. This honor thing is what screwed all three of them. Ed Stark, instead of telling Cersei that, look, I know your children are not Robb's children, and, you know, I called Stannis because Stannis is the rightful king at this point, he should have just hollered at Stannis. He should have went home, hollered at Stannis, told Stannis what needed to happen. They all group together and go to King's Landing and take over the throne and put Stannis on the throne as king. But no, they didn't do that. He went and told Cersei, and so Cersei ended up getting him put in jail and then his head lopped off. Okay. Same thing with Robb. Robb screwed over Walder Frey, and he screwed over a few other people that were on his side, and screwed him over, meaning that he was single focused on honor and not really playing the game, because this is the Game of Thrones, and some of these cats are not playing the game. And he screwed over Walder Frey, and that's how he ended up dead at the Red Wedding. So Jon does the same thing. He doesn't explain. He could have actually made it out of it. He doesn't explain to these guys what is beyond the wall. When he comes back, he doesn't explain it. And when he left, he doesn't explain it clearly. That we are fighting something greater than us beyond the wall. And that's the reason why I need to get these wildlings in here to help us fight it. And you, here, 2 or 3 of you come with me so that you can see what it is. He doesn't explain anything. And that's why he's dead. Alistair stabs him, and I guess like 5 or 6 other people stab him, and then his own squire, Ollie, stabs him, and he lays on the ground dead. Now, the reason why I don't want to say that he's dead is because season 3, episode 5, you have Thoros and Beric Thoros keeps bringing Beric back. And I'm thinking that because Melisandre was there and she asked him how many times you had brought him back, and he's like 6 or 7. I mean, I'm thinking that Melisandre is sitting there, and either she's going to grab Jon's body, her and Sir Davos are going to grab Jon's body and take it over to Thoros to have him resurrected. And the reason why everybody in print ad is saying that Jon is dead is because when Jon comes back, he's going to be like Beric, and he may be without a large chunk of his memory, and he may not even remember that he's Jon Snow. So he may be a whole different character. And in many ways, I'm thinking that because we don't get Lady Stoneheart in the show, that Jon will take on some of those attributes of Lady Stoneheart, and in the way of maybe Thoros won't be able to resurrect Jon, but Beric will do what he did for Lady Stoneheart, and that is give up his immortality to Jon. And there we would have a whole different character, but still using Jon's face. You get it? Because I think that's because they've been giving like certain characters other people's parts from the book to keep the storyline within the group of characters that they have, because Jane Poole would actually be the person who was going through what Sansa was going through. So that's what I'm thinking that's going to happen with Jon. But now that I've said all that, I don't think Jon is dead. I think that Jon, the way we know him, is dead. But when he gets resurrected, he will be a new character. He may even be Sir Stoneheart, or something like that. But I don't think he's coming back as Jon Snow, the one that we love and the one that we know. He's going to be something else. He may even be. They may even give him Beric's life, like they gave Lady Stoneheart Beric's immortality, and be resurrected as Azor Ahai, and then he gets in play for the throne. So who knows what's going to happen there. The next things I want to say is this. When we started this mid part of season 1, there were 5 people fighting to be king. You had Joffrey Baratheon, Stannis Baratheon, Renly Baratheon, Robb Stark, Baron Greyjoy. Alright, out of those, you have Joffrey dead, Stannis possibly dead, Renly dead, Robb Stark dead, and Baron Greyjoy still alive. Tommen is sitting on the throne, and Daenerys is the only Targaryen who could take the throne over. So I'm wondering, are we still playing the Game of Thrones? The only 2 people that seem to still be playing the game is Varys and Littlefinger, because the other 3, Dany is constantly being put in situations where she has to sit in a place a long time, and Tommen is literally sitting on the throne, and the Greyjoys are not even a part of the show. I don't think they even went to Iron Islands this time. So I'm like, what's going on? And does the Boltons end up start putting their hats in for the throne? Who's trying to get the throne? Because it's seeming less like people are fighting for the throne, and more like it's just a group of people who are being caught up in intrigues. I believe Daenerys could have easily been putting herself in a position where she's moving forward. Like, you're conquering, you're grabbing people, you're making them a part of your army, and you're moving forward. The Unsullied seems to be not a good investment, but at least those are soldiers that you can use to fight. I don't know what's going on here anymore. And then we have White Walkers and all kinds of shit. The winter's coming. The wall may fall. We don't know what the hell is going on now. There's so much stuff. There's so many side stories that the main story is getting lost. People fighting for the throne. It is what it is. But that is my review for this week. And I'll see you guys in 8 months for Game of Thrones, Season 6. You guys have a good day. Bye.